Hi everybody,
welcome back to our channel.
We're going to do a Q&A today and I'm so excited because these are just much different questions than we've had in the past.
Yeah, they're like deeper questions.
They're a little bit deeper. Maybe it's because you guys know us a little bit better now. We haven't done one of these in a little bit, so I'm excited to get to it. If you guys have any additional questions, I think we're going to do this in 2 parts because we got so many questions. So if there's anything else that you guys want to know, put them down in the comments below and we'll try to get to them in the next video.
I'm so excied. I don't even know what a lot of these what people have asked, but
I didn't share them with her. And I'm gonna do a mix of the ones from YouTube and the ones from Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, go check us out there. It's the same handle, Love by Two Moms with the number 2. We share a lot more of our day-to-day life and the stories and stuff over there, so definitely go check that out.
And if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel right here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as it really supports us and our channel.
He's looking at you like, Mom, what are you doing?
Because you heard me talking? Yeah.
We're going to answer some questions too.
Alright, he said, yeah!
Will you teach Pax sign language? Yes.
Yes, we are actually in the midst of it. He probably won't show much on camera.
No. He does it in vivo though. So he'll do more and he kind of does all done.
Kind of water-ish.
So the sign for water is this with your like 3 fingers and that's a little too advanced for him. So he kind of does this. Or sometimes he'll use his tongue and like like that. They're approximations and we honor them, so he does a really nice job with them.
Yeah, I mean there's no way, he doesn't have the dexterity
Right.
to be able to do this, you know.
Right. Advice for midterm exams, how did you stay focused to study when you were in school? That was a long time ago.
For me, I would go to a library. I would avoid people, honestly. I would also see if there's other people in my classes that you could do study groups with, and that always helped me because then if I didn't understand something, there was somebody right there that like could talk it out with me,
or somebody you could like share notes with. Maybe you missed something that they did.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we were in college at the same time, so I spent a lot of time in her library as well, studying with her. I'm also a bit of a procrastinator. I work better under pressure, so for me, if I waited until like, you know, a week before a 10-page paper was due, I would hammer it out a lot quicker than if I did it all along the way.
No, if you guys can tell right now, like I'm having anxiety just hearing her say that. Like the idea of waiting until the last minute, literally, like I would, no, I have to work on things kind of in pieces.
But good luck with your exams.
Good luck, you can do it, you'll get through it. And yeah, I mean again, if you just have to work in pieces, that's okay.
Yeah.
But the best thing is like find people you can do it, find a quiet space you can study in. And probably nowadays, I would say turn your phone off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. That wasn't so much of an issue back in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but not like
today. No.
You have to mark them off as we go, so I know which ones we've done. How do you resolve conflicts in your relationship? Communication. If one of us is having, at least for me, if one of us is having an issue with something or they're, you know, upset for whatever reason, we try really hard to discuss it right then and there. Don't put it off until later and let it like weigh on our shoulders and have us like not be nice to each other for the day. If you just talk about it, work through it right then and there, then I feel like it works a lot better.
And we haven't always been like that. Like, it's taken a lot to know, like...
Yeah, what works for us.
Right, and how to talk to each other. And suddenly, this is actually something that we've tried to start doing more, so I've tried to start doing it, and we saw, I don't remember who it was, another couple doing it. We're very different in the way that we want to, like, talk about things. And so it's ask whether you want to just vent or whether you actually want to solve the problem. I am the person that, like, if I'm talking about something, like, I want to solve something. Actually, she wants to vent. Most of the time, right?
Yeah. I'll be talking about something. She's like, well, you could do this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of those things. I just want to talk. Just let me hear what I'm saying, please.
And I'm the opposite. She'll, like, try to...
We're still working on this.
Yeah. She'll, like, try to tell me, like, it's going to be okay. Like... And I'm like, no, I need to solve this. I need to figure out the answer right now.
A lot of the time I have to tell her, there's nothing you can do in this moment. There's nothing, because it's like, she wants to talk about it a lot of the time at like bedtime. We're laying in bed, she's like, but, I'm like, no, it's time to sleep. This is what we're doing right now. We're going to close our eyes. And she's like, but no, and I'm like, yeah.
Not to mention that Paxton's crib is also in my room, so
yeah,
he's already
so he can't even really talk much because he sleeps really lightly. So yeah, communication. Figure out how you can best communicate with each other.
That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be the same for each party. So you have to kind of figure out what that is.
Right. He is in this stage where he wants to move all the time.
We just lost Elf on the shelf.
Oh no! Oh no! You can put him in his walker. I'll answer this one on my own. It's how old are we? So Brittany just had a birthday. She's 34, and I'm 33. She's 9 months older than me. How old did you think we were, for whoever asked that question?
That's a great question. Maybe. I don't know if we want the answers to that unless they think we're younger.
Let's see. Who made the first move? I actually think it was me.
It was.
I think so.
Because we were at your parents' house. We were watching Nemo in your basement.
And okay, you know how in the movies you see like when it's a couple that's like brand new and they're like inching pinkies over to hold each other's hands? That was totally us. And that was like,
let us know if you've been there. I know that's not only us. That's why
no,
they put it in movies. That's so
yeah,
normal.
I think that's so common. That's so funny.
But yeah, you had said she knew that I liked girls, and she had told. And then in the moment we were like watching Nemo, she said, "Well, we have something in common."
Oh my god, that's why I think it's bad yet. Mind you, we were like 15, 16? We were young. Who brought up kids first? I think that was also me. I have known from a very young age that I wanted kids.
It's not even that you brought up kids. Like, anytime I would ask you, like, what are you passionate about? That would be later, though.
Yeah.
But I'd ask you, like, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? Like, her number one thing that she has ever really wanted to do and felt that was, like, her purpose was to be a mom. Or is to be a mom.
Yeah. Anybody else out there? Anybody? I follow a couple people on Instagram that I know have said the same thing. But I don't feel like that's very common.
No, I think it is. I think society doesn't allow that to be as common anymore.
Right.
You know, it's being a mom is like, I hate to say this, but society has this thing like it's not good enough to just be a mom.
Yeah, right.
Which is BS, complete BS.
Yeah. You had a rule. What was your rule?
Oh yes, so I had a rule for the first 4 years we were dating. Like, we had to make it to the 4-year mark before I wanted to talk about marriage or kids.
How long did we wait?
I proposed to you after 6 years.
And then how long did we wait after that?
Another 6 years to get married and then a year to have kids.
It's okay though. But it was all in perfect timing. It all happened how it was meant to be.
Yeah, this has been the perfect year for him to be here.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's true.
For us, it has been.
Right.
And I wanted to get to a much better place mentally. I guess that's the best way to put it. I didn't want to start raising a kid in my state of anxiety where I was.
Right. So that's actually the next question. What advice would you give to somebody that's also on a mental health journey?
Every day is work, unfortunately. That is the truth. But every day is work, and it is really a journey to becoming very self-aware and understanding what makes you tick and why things make you tick and where that, I mean, you're sorting out, like, for me it was anxiety, like what things are giving me anxiety, why are things giving me anxiety, am I willing to take those things out of my life or remove myself from those situations? Maybe people out there that completely disagree with that.
Right.
That you shouldn't have to remove, like, situations from your life or something, but for me that's part of what worked.
I mean, and this is coming from a place where Brittany's anxiety was all day, every day. It was panic attacks every single day. So, you've come so far.
Yeah.
So far. Night and day difference.
So for me, a big one too was, and I'm going to say yoga, but it's not necessarily yoga. It's finding some sort of
movement.
Yes. Movement that works for you, because there's so much that your body holds when you don't get to move and stretch and all that. So you want to make sure that you find something that you enjoy. And if you can find a friend or something that also enjoys that, that's even better, because then you have each other to hold accountable.
Right. I think another good one is don't compare your journey to somebody else's.
Ooh.
So no two people's anxiety is the same. No people's depression is the same. Just because one person, is doing something that works for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
100%. So. And that's something I still struggle with. So we talk about, she's usually the one on social media. There's a reason for it. I still don't do well looking at everybody's social media, and I'll be like, oh, well, I'm 34, we should be here, or I should look like this, or whatever. I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, like, it doesn't make sense, but there's moments where I can't sort that out.
Right. Are we still planning on moving?
Possibly. There's a house we like.
There's a house that we really, really like. There's pros and cons to, every situation, right? This one could be really good. It is slightly smaller than what we have now, a very, very different layout. which was not what we were originally looking for, but we kind of fell in love with the neighborhood. We have a lot of things going on now, our personal and professional life right now, and I think we may talk about in the next video, part 2 of our Q&A. So stay tuned for that, but we have a lot of just things to figure out before we really decide on whether we want to move.
And I think there's a big thing with that, right? Like, we love our house. We like that location a lot better. That location also happens to be a lot more expensive for a smaller house. I'm just not sure if where we're at in our lives right now that it 100% makes sense.
Right.
You know, I mean, for right now, we probably won't move during the winter.
Right.
I don't think, unless we find like some outrageous deal in that area. But I think we've really, I say this and we could change our minds again, but we really like that area.
You know how, like, you get like a vibe of something, right? We have looked all over, and the vibe of this neighborhood is just so much more welcoming, and it just feels so much better to us than any of the other neighborhoods we've looked in. And we've looked in quite a few.
It's this sense of, hi mister. It's this sense of inclusion and community.
Right.
It's like why we love doing YouTube, because there's this building of a community where we don't necessarily have in our everyday lives.
Right.
But we feel like we would have more of it in our everyday lives in that area.
Yeah. What is your favorite thing that Paxton does?
Oh, one?
Everything. I am still obsessed with him, for sure. He, the other day, is really funny. So we have a big mirror in our playroom, and he was looking in it, and he was like, he had his hands on it, and it was like licking in the thing, and then he like tried to look behind it, because he doesn't realize that's him. So he's like looking behind it to try to find the baby, and he wants to play with his baby, and it's just...
That was so precious. And it was for a long time, too.
Yeah. It was really cute, but I mean everything.
But I don't know that I can pick one favorite thing. I
don't think I can.
Watching him learn and develop, and the way he like looks at things with such curiosity, and it's just every bit of it is just hard. It just melts you.
What is the hardest part about us both being mom, and are there any struggles because we're both mom?
This is not real, like that it matters, but that right now when he says "Mama," he wants you.
That's kind of a hard question to answer. I don't know that we've really come across anything.
No, that was just like, that's not a real thing.
Right.
I don't know that there's anything that's really hard about it.
I matched with somebody on a dating site, and I'm not sure how to start a conversation. I would say just go for it. Talk about, I don't know, something important to you, yeah. Maybe you two have some, like, interests or...
Why were you matched? Does it give you any information on, like, why you were matched? Or, like she said, if you have similar interests on something, that just gives you a topic to start talking about.
Yeah, just do it. Just go for it. What's the worst that happens?
We don't have much to say.
Right, we haven't dated in a long time.
So long.
Long time. Do y'all think there's a disconnect in the LGBT community with those in the trans community? I kind of do, actually. I think there's a major disconnect in general in the trans community. I think it's really misunderstood, and I think there's a lot of work to be done in accepting trans people.
I agree 100% with that. We all need to work together to allow people to be exactly who they are.
Right.
Period.
Right. Okay, so this next one is a big one. So this next one's a big one, and it was asked a bunch. Do you plan to have other children? Will Brittany carry, and when will you have other children?
Yes, maybe.
And at some point next year.
We hope. I mean, there's definitely some things that we don't know how they're going to go. Example, COVID.
Right.
And we have a few other things, again, going on personally and business-wise that we want to make sure we get smoothed out before
we have another. So yes, we are planning on having at least one more. At least. Brittany, we haven't completely decided if she's going to carry or if I will. And when, we're hoping middle to late next year, we are pregnant.
Yes.
We wanted them to be roughly 2 years apart. So Paxton will be 1 in February. So you can do the math from there.
So sometime after February.
But we also just want to make sure, like with everything COVID, we don't want to, I don't want to say we don't want to. It's going to be challenging for us if like only one person's allowed at the appointments and that kind of thing. Brittany came to all of my prenatal appointments with me for the last one, and that was something that was important to us. So we'll see where things lay.
And I think that comes from a place where we have friends that didn't get that opportunity.
And it was really hard.
And it was hard for them. It was hard for me to watch. It really broke my heart for them because that's just, I mean, unfortunately that is something that they missed out on.
Right.
And that makes me sad. Because it was something that, you know, it doesn't happen with all couples. And I think it might be more common with lesbian couples. I don't know for sure. But, you know, at about 20 weeks, she wasn't allowed to go to her wife's appointments anymore. And that's really hard. Especially that late in a pregnancy. Like, that's really hard.
Right.
So it worries me to be in that situation, you know. I mean, obviously, we also do only want them so far apart, so we might just have to deal with it. But it's just something else that we've been thinking about.
Right. I think this is going to be our last one for this round.
Okay.
What is Paxton's relationship with his grandparents? So, because of COVID, this year has been obviously a little bit different for most people. But he has a great relationship with both sets of his grandparents. We, you know, weren't sure how things were going to be with mine specifically, but they have welcomed him with open arms and they love him, and it's been really great to see. And
I never questioned, I did never question that they would welcome him. I knew they would welcome him, but I was really afraid that there would be like a separation of Paxton being her child. And they have done a really, really, really good job of making sure I didn't feel that way. And of treating him as equals like their other grandkids, which has been huge for me. He's about to pull the camera over. Hold on. And then with my parents, it's as good as it can be right now. My parents are really scared to be around him. Well, I shouldn't say. They're really scared to be around anybody because of COVID, and they don't want the chance that they could ever pass anything to him. And her parents are the same way. But they've gotten to see him as much, but there's still, like, there's so much with both of our parents, or with anybody, that the interactions are not like they would be.
No, it's been a very strange year to have a baby.
I finally got to introduce him to my brother, and introducing him was just like me coming up with a baby. Like, it wasn't like, here's Paxton, here's our son Paxton, you know, and it's weird.
It's really weird.
It's really weird, and it's hard, and it's, you know, like, he doesn't really get to see their facial expression, and our parents' facial expressions and stuff like that, so it's hard.
Yeah, it's not at all how I envisioned the first year of my first child's life, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do to change it, so.
But we don't want anybody passing anything around, like, it would be heartbreaking.
Right.
You know, it could be fine, it could not be fine, and it's just not worth it.
Right.
But overall, it is great. We are super fortunate for both of our families, and hopefully they will be able to get closer with him
as things get better.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But I think that's it for this video. Don't forget to tune in probably next week. We're going to do it next week?
Yeah, we can just do a follow-up next week.
Next week for our Q&A part 2. Lots of good questions still to go. You guys had so many questions this time, and we want to make sure we get to them all.
And I like that they're going deeper. They're not as surface level now. They're more like about us.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Is that paper delicious?
If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in our next video.